Tutorial, we're going to look at taking your design from a poster format and putting it in another object. In this example, a t-shirt. So here we have the poster, A4 size, done in Illustrator, and we're going to transfer the design into this t-shirt and break it apart and run it across the front and the back of the front and back panels. Now, you don't have to do a t-shirt for the project. You can do any additional object that you like. I'm just doing a t-shirt because it's kind of fun. So the way it works is that we have a object here, which is our t-shirt shape, and our design is placed inside that object, and then the object on top is acting as a mask. So we are going to use something called clipping masks in this tutorial. So if I just go to the object menu with that t-shirt selected, go clipping mask, release, you'll see that what actually is going on is that I have my design kind of here, and then just on top you'll see I have a object which is the t-shirt shape, which is on top. That's really important to remember, the t-shirt shape's on top. If I select them both and then go object, clipping mask, make, that top object becomes like a cookie cutter, so it'll just prevent me from seeing things that are outside of that shape. And that's quite useful for doing mock-ups and putting things into things so that they look like they're part of the material. So you can imagine it'd be quite useful for sort of product design or what have you, and that sort of thing. Okay, so how do we do it? Just in this layer here on the top, you see I've got empty mask, which is just my t-shirt templates, and here you'll notice in the picker I've just got a stroke and no fill. So they're just drawn shapes, and they'll be given to you as part of the templates that we've uploaded to Study Direct. And then in my poster here, if I just select that there, you'll see that I've got a number of text objects and lines with a background gradient that are all grouped together as one object. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that, Command C, go back to my empty mask layer, Command V just to paste it in, and away we go. So obviously I need to resize this and make it smaller and rotate it to fit in here. If we can do that like this, so just grabbing the corner with our selector and holding down Shift, which sometimes works, but you'll sometimes find that when you do that with complex drawings and lots of lines, particularly strokes, that sometimes the strokes don't resize in the same way as the other objects. So there's another way of resizing which is really useful, which I'll show you now. So if you go to the object menu, transform, and then scale, you'll see we have this other dialog box that appears. This allows us to scale according to numerical values, so 75%, but importantly there's an option here for scaling strokes and effects. So that'll scale everything uniformly, which is really important. So you don't want to have to go back in something after you've scaled it using the selector tool and resize everything by hand. You just want it done in one go, and the object transform scale option lets you do that. So we've just scaled our design here, and we need to rotate it slightly, put it in place, and now I'm just going to ungroup it, so Command Shift and G just to separate everything out, and I'm going to take this background out so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have our object here, and you'll remember in the example that the MPT and 3 lines are at the front and then all of this goes at the back. So we need to separate this design out, and we can do that using the Scissor Tool just to cut those strokes. So under the eraser there, remember from the previous tutorial, Scissor Tool, and then to select there I don't have to use the selector tool, I can just press Command to toggle between selector tool and scissors, and I'm just going to cut somewhere just below where the t-shirt is. Okay. Okay, so now I have the, that's not ungrouped, so I'm just going to Command Shift G, ungroup that. So now I have my MPT logo. I'll just hold down Shift and select the lines as well. And now Command Group again, or Command G to group. That's one object. And then I'm just going to select the rest of the design here, hold down Shift again, Command G to group that again so that I can just keep that as another object. So now I have it separated. I can just put this in a place that looks useful. Come back with my background. Now I've got this gradient here which I want to sort of be just like the poster. And so I'm going to make that the kind of panel background for the t-shirt. But I'm going to want it to be the same here, so I'm just going to hold down Alt, click and drag. I've got another version, and that's going to be for that one. And now, very important when you're using clipping masks, it only works with two objects, so I'm going to select my design plus the background, so hold down Shift, and group those together, and send them to the back, so Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Okay, so important to remember, clipping masks only work with two objects, and the one that you want to be the mask needs to be on the top. So here we have my grouped single object, background plus letters, and then on top I have my template. I'm just going to Shift click that, and then go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And there we go. So I can then head over, start working with the back panel, same process, clipping mask, and you're done.